Hey guys, and welcome back to Tales from Anvil, the podcast where we share stories, insights, and adventures from the world of Empire LARP. Whether you're a seasoned citizen of the Empire, someone who's just thinking about giving LARP a try, or someone who has no idea what any of that means, you're genuinely welcome here.
Each episode, we're going to be diving into our own experiences, whether they're good, they're bad, they're wildly indifferent, or whatever the case may be. And every now and again, we're going to have guests on to share their experiences too, so you should join us and see what it's all about.
So think of this as gathering around the virtual campfire, especially since we're not really meant to have campfires at the moment. Pull up a chair, have a drink, and welcome to Tales from Anvil.
Yeah, welcome in everybody. For those of you with us last episode, you'll know that it was my time to shine. I kind of did the recap of what Brynwolf got up to at E3 2026. And we're going to do things a tiny bit differently this time because both Jordan and Cian are going to give us their recaps for part of their E3 experience 2026, which, for those of you that do know already, is going to be fucking wild. So
Yes.
buckle
The
up
reason
and get ready.
we'll become a parrot towards the end.
We're
Yeah.
just experimenting with things. We're just, seeing what works. There is no reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that in mind, I don't know how you guys have organized how you're going to format this episode between yourselves. So I'm going to hand over to you and tell us what you guys got up to at E3 this year.
So, for me, my main thing for E3 was running for Night Protector. I wanted to run for Night Protector of Summer. I did not do enough work for it. I really didn't. I had a very basic understanding of the Eternals. I did not reach out to enough people.
You did sort of shoot yourself in the foot by only starting this at like E1.
Yeah. Which, for a lot of people, they do it. They start campaigning nearly a year in advance. But I couldn't because I only got ennobled at E2. So there was not much I could do until I was a noble, and then I had to basically, start very much on the back foot. I thought I had a good shot straight away when I got the Serrated Claws to back me, but then they fecked off the winter mark, and that was the worst thing that happened that summit. Foreshadowing is literally the fights. So I won't go into the details of the politicking because it was interesting, but no, it wasn't that interesting. It was just basically me going, oh shit, I don't have enough numbers. Oh shit, I do have enough numbers. Oh shit, I have really bad opponents who are gonna fuck me up. Oh, that person's not actually involved. Throughout the entirety of Thursday and Friday, I just kept hearing different things, and it went from I'm going to win, I'm going to lose, I'm going to win, I'm going to lose, I'm going to win, I'm going to lose, and that was the entire way throughout it. And as far as I know, near the end, it was coming to the point where I was like, oh shit, I have the numbers, I'm going to win this. But that was only part of that. Was kind of going throughout my entire day. We started off the event the Friday with nice, lovely family photos by lovely Ben Smith. He does great photos, and he actually showed up. So he showed up at our camp. So we had lovely in-character photos in camp. They looked great. Jordan jumped in for a few.
Yeah, you very kindly, whenever Ben turned around and said, well, you've actually got me booked for whatever it was, 20 minutes, half an hour, and you were just like, well, we've got all the house ones, so if anyone's got their kit on, come and get a photo taken.
Well, no, I booked him for an hour.
Oh, an hour, yeah. So it was, you had loads of time.
I knew that your man had a meetup at the Forge at 3. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna book him till 2 to 3. So that I'm gonna finish early, so he has loads of time to get to his meetup. I was just gonna, be nice. And we kind of just end up having way too much time. So when I want to do it with him again at E1. with the idea that I get as many people involved. I can have try and get the camp IC-ified as possible.
That'd be nice.
Dan, if you want to come, you can too.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Yeah,
But
I'd
you
love
have to
to do
dress
that.
up like you're Donish.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's fine. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just a lot of
We'll just-
flowers and
yeah. We'll
yelling.
just give you a
much,
flower crown and you'll be
Yeah,
fine.
some chain mail.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I knew a couple of people that might have some spare Dawn kit, that would also help. But
Yeah, I wonder where you'll find. Wonder where you'll find them.
I've no idea.
Yeah.
If you hear of anyone,
foreshadow-
let me know.
Foreshadowing is a literary device. What about you? How was your start of your event, Jordan?
So funny enough, we also had booked a photo shoot. We booked in with Krios. We wanted to get a good chunk of the house because we realized that I've been going for a year now, and we don't really have, other than when Mercury Bex came to the photo shoot that you invited us on. It's like E1.
Yeah, it was E1. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really have many photos of the house together. Obviously, Krios does have like a limit to the number of people you can have, so we didn't get the whole house, but we had like a good chunk of us. Went for this really lovely photo shoot. Obviously, we were sort of expecting it. There was still going to be a bit of a fight, but we knew that we were pretty sure that Lord Milton from De Vere was going to become the Grand Master. So, like, we were fully intended to be like, oh, we had to get him a nice photo for the wiki page, which is now, if you look up him on the wiki, that the photo he's used is from the photo shoot. But I love getting photos with Krios. He's always lovely. We had some very, very lovely group photos, individual photos. It was very nice. I'm very pleased that we got that done. Beyond that, we timed in a little bit early with the Strategos team because Harrison was getting very organized. We now had a whole team which consisted mostly of members of De Vere, but we had me as the proxy. We had Alarin and Felix helping with organization, gathering information, funding, gathering resources. So 4 of us timed in early to go over what our tasks were because I had a whole load of tasks as the proxy once we got started, which is pretty much what I spent a lot of my Friday doing.
Yeah, I think while I was like badly politically, you were actually doing the proxy job.
No, what I was doing was running around Anvil, failing to find all but one of the people I was looking for.
Okay, so you were bad proxying and I was bad politicking. So one of the first things I did, well, first things we kind of did to get together was attend Matthias's funeral as Leoric dragged him in from where did he die? Sandcrab place.
Oh, where was that? Oh, I can't remember.
Did you just say Sand Crab Place?
Dire Astrids.
Dire Astrids. Right. I was meant, if I remember correctly, it was like a beach. That was like that.
I don't even think I have that skirmish information written down because it was a rod and shield one, so I wasn't involved with any of the organization for it.
So the skirmish where we lost a bunch of people, last event, most of their bodies were not recovered, and Leoric went and so Leoric asked in our group chat, in our Discord, "Hey, whoever wants to be brought back, let me know, and I'll bring them back."
Specifically because, to explain, in his downtime, he went to fight the Grendel in the same location that battle took place. So that was the way he was flavouring it, as being able to bring the bodies back.
Yeah.
He didn't just like go and steal the bodies from somewhere.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. And so Matthias is the only one who kind of like took him up on that offer. So we had kind of like just in the corner of the Glory Square, a nice little funeral. It was nice. And then I went straight from that.
Well, I'll bring up this bit while we're on this, just so we're not going to jump back and forth. But obviously, a lot of the Lance came for this. And I had OC been arranging something with another one of the players from the Lance, Sir Nicholas's player. And the whole point was that the two of us, like, there was a group of us who from E4 had got quite close, which included Sir Nicholas, Ericsson, a few other people. And we had like exchanged loads of favours, and he was wearing one of the favors that he was wearing one of the favors and a Donish pennant that I had given him on his belt. And I was wearing one of the favors that he had given me. He died in that battle. And we had OC discussed, he had actually made I believe he had made the scabbard for his sword himself. And he was like, "Look, would you like Nicholas's scabbard?" And I was like, "Oh mate, like, of course, like I'll how much for it? I'll pay for it." No. I will just gift it to you. but we'll need to check that it fits your sword. I think I have the same style of sword, but might be slightly different length, but we'll check this out when we get there. Bottom line is we arrived, tried it. It was a bit too short for my sword, so we literally traded swords just so that this could be like gifted to Alrayus. Now, Leoric was told all of this.
Oh, God.
But when he arrives and he's like, we've done the thing for Matthias, and he like holds up this thing. He said he could not bring back Sir Nicholas's body, but he brought back his scabbard, which has literally got the pennant and the favor I gave him with, and like he had like gone and like covered it in blood and like scrunched a load of blood up on it to make it look really dramatic. And he holds it up, and instead of saying, "I think you should have this, Alrayus," he went, "Would anyone here like to take this?" And in my head, I had to go, that wasn't the agreement. Did something else change? Is somebody else like has somebody else been involved in this now? Is somebody else going to like do something here? And I like look around and nobody's saying anything. And I'm about to speak. And then Lord Kenrick, who is the second in command of the lance, steps forward and goes, "I'll take it." And me and Leoric share a look of pure panic. And I cannot think of the correct thing to say here. So I just put my hand on Lord Kenrick's shoulder and go, "No, you won't." And like essentially push him out of the way and go, "I will take it." And quite rightfully, because he is a noble, I am a yo. He is like, "Why do you think you should have this over me?" And I'm like, I can't just like break character and I go, because this was the agreement. I have to be like, because I was close with Sir Nicholas and because the favors he wears on that belt were the ones that I gifted him. I wear the favor that he gifted me, and I have to go through this whole like justification. And he's like, "Okay, but we will need to speak after this." I was like, "Fuck!" So I take the scabbard. We disperse from all of this, and like Lord Kenrick is waiting at the side for me, and I walk up to him. I lean in and go, "OC, very quickly, are you aware that we had like arranged that I was meant to get this?" And he was like, "No, I didn't know that." I was like, "Okay, just so you're aware." But then he like did like rightfully gave me some shit for like speaking in front, like speaking up to him and like, you know, pushing him out of the way, for him to be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And we came to the agreement that I would carry on, and that essentially I would have to prove that I was worthy of taking this, and that I would have to continue on Sir Nicholas's quest for him. Which in my head, I'm going, fuck, that's easy, because Sir Nicholas's goal was to help destroy the children of Rex, who were essentially wiped out in the downtime from the last event. So in my head, I'm going, score, nice. Easy. So that all happens, yeah. And as we're walking away, because I think at this point you've gone on to do something else for Hadrian, I'm literally still stood around the square. And again, something else we had sort of prepared, didn't know exactly how it was going to go down, but I could see another person I knew I was going to have an interaction with. I'm in the middle of a conversation with somebody else, and they come over, apologize to the person I'm talking to, and then fucking slap me. This is Agravain, Rupert's new character, who we have like made an agreement that I knew his brother, and his brother traveled with House Tavir to Asavea and died. And obviously, my whole character backstory thing was that I ended up being in a chamber for a couple of months, which turned out in the real world to be 10 years. And then I have returned. And Agravain is distraught. He is upset. He wants to know why me, the friend of his brother, came back alive and didn't protect his brother. So he fucking slaps me, challenges me essentially, and says that he will have his... Ignore that. 2 seconds. But essentially, he says he wants he wants to essentially fight me over this. So and my response was to very carefully like try and control my emotions, because again, I'm playing a changeling. Big outbursts are quite normal for me. I have to like control my emotions to be like, I will kick your ass, but tomorrow I have a job to do tonight, and I cannot. I cannot forego my responsibilities just for kicking your ass. We'll do this tomorrow. And he's like, I agree. You just decide the time and let me know. I was like, fine. And then I storm off to do a bunch of Strategos proxy stuff while very angry. But what was Hadrian doing at this point?
Was I covered in blood at this point? Do you remember?
I cannot remember.
So I'm trying to remember. Yeah. So is either before or after the funeral that I went to go get a winter ritual done, because Hadrian came into this event cursed with dampness. He was just wet.
Oh yeah,
His
I remember
entire
this.
body was wet. He was just uncomfortable. He was just and I played that just as like, he is just annoyed. This is really just annoying. And part of the curse was that he wasn't able to regain hero points naturally. And that's not great when you're about to go into a tourney. You kind of need your hero points, or at least something. And we'd worked out a bunch of tonics and potions and stuff that I would get for the Saturday to help with that. But one of the things I did to try and give me any bit of advantage I could was I got a winter ritual done called Tooth and Nail, which gives you 2 unstoppables a day, which is pretty fucking good. And as part of the ritual, I was told, do you want, there's like blood carvings, and do you want that on your hand? And I went, no, we're going to put this on the face. So I get this like blood carvings onto my face, and it was the Winter Coven in the Emerald Lance, who are really fucking good at their job. Super, like, it was intense. It was creepy. So this whole like winter ritual, as I'm getting like fake blood carved into my face, which I just keep on for the rest of the day. Any bit of conversation, any politic I have, anytime I'm just like talking one-on-one, my face is covered in blood.
I don't think you had that done at that point, because I don't think I saw you until after a skirmish, and I assumed you'd done that for like an injury in the skirmish or something.
No. As one of the role-playing effects for Tooth and Nail is that you feel that you give no quarter to your opponents and feel the urge to execute them, which was going to be great going into a tourney.
I remember you saying that. I was like, yes, the tourney where you're not supposed to kill people.
So I basically went to a bunch of people, including Alrayus and Lord Roderick, and some other people, being like, hey, I'm under an effect right now. I needed to keep myself going. I give you my permission to tear me off people if needs be. Keep an eye on them. Yeah. This was my kind of icy way of OC telling people, hey, when it comes to the tourney, feel free to just grab me and pull me off people. Because that's cool shit.
She was like, oh, they fucking kill him.
Yeah, that was the plan. Just like go through these, like, take people down and then go for an execution, hoping that some fucker would actually take me off. It was going to be fun. But after that ritual, I had to go straight to a Baron skirmish, because Hadrian was a Baron's noble. There was fuckers attacking Dry Castle, like literally like 5 minutes away from him. So he was just like, yeah, I need to go kill these fuckers. And I was starting to be good friends with Earl de Renard, who was the person in charge of that skirmish. So
Fun fact, I was nearly meant to be on that skirmish, or at least I was meant to try and get on that skirmish, because a member of House Tonberry, who I'm pretty sure listens to this, messaged me to be like, hey, don't tell him I'm doing this, but our Earl is like insisting to go on the skirmish because they're from Dry Castle and he wants to defend his home. He's not been in the field for like a year. We're trying to get him some magic weapons and shit, but can you like go with him and keep him alive, please? And then
you mean Earl Don Tonberry, who I met at Earl's Council.
Yes.
And then I met again.
Yes.
Smaller the next day. And then I met again taller the other day. And then I met again, and I'm pretty sure it was a woman. But that Earl Tonberry.
Yes. Unfortunately, so OC now, Earl Don Tonberry could not actually make it to the summit. So I did not have to go on that skirmish.
Nice.
So I go on the skirmish, and everyone's going, what's wrong with your face? And I go, it's fine. We got work to do. I'm kind of just pushing through because I'm now playing this annoyed and fucking irritable and like kind of slightly loose cannony. We go through. We're walking down, and when I say I've gotten two of my favorite photos
They're good
walking to that
photos.
skirmish, fucking hell, they were good. And then photos from the actual skirmish themselves, fucking hell, mwah, chef's kiss. Love the photographers. But we get onto the skirmish. There's a bunch of like house stone call behind me, and we're ready to go. We just seem to have just enough numbers. We get through, and we get about a good chunk down the road, and all of Stone Call who were behind me, who were all this was our like lance. This was our organized fighting unit. All get bounced.
Fuck.
So it's me. I'm looking at me and Roderick, and I can't remember who else. And just like shit, we came in as a fighting unit, and now there's like 3 of us. Shit. And we just jump on, but we didn't then just jump onto someone else's unit. Just like, okay, yeah, fuck it, we're doing this. That skirmish goes really fucking well. I think we lost one person, but if I remember correctly, they were very, very new to Anvil, as in they were like, this was their first event. They died an hour into the event. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We had a similar experience at E2. Somebody that joined our unit in Black Stripes was like, yeah, I'd love to come on a skirmish. And it was like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. We were like, yeah, sure, come on the skirmish with us. Died. And we were like, oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry. And then because he'd introduced himself a load in like his old character, I kept calling him that character's name without realizing. He's like, I don't know who that is, but my name is this. I'm like, oh, of course it is. I'm so sorry.
We weren't
shit.
I mean, I went back around to the Renard camp, and like people were just slagging him because they're just like, yeah, clearly he did not have wisdom. He just like he went straight into the enemy lines. Like that was the mistake.
Lacked vigilance.
He lacked vigilance. And we get through there, and I have this great interaction with one of the I believe they were Dufrost. But they dressed honestly more Wintermarky, where seemingly he was being paid per kill, but I was under the urge to execute everyone. So we ended up nearly fighting over executing people. And like I remember he kind of like bumped into me, and I was like, okay, I know I can get with this. I know what this man's fight is. So as he's about to execute him, I look at him, I give a nod, see if he's okay with this. He is. I push him out of the way and go to fucking execute the person. And like we get into each other's face after this like in the middle of this battle, like going, hey, fuck my fucking kill, not your fucking kill. Fuck off. And it's great. We kill the people we need to kill. It was like we had to kill a general or something or someone. That person died. I look, and there's like 6 Druge off in the distance. Actually, no, about 3 Druge off in the distance. I'm like, I'm not running. Fuck that. As much as I'm into the roleplay here, I'm not fucking running. But I see Earl de Renard just fucking legging it after these guys. I'm just like, if he dies, oh. I'm just like, I watch just in case I see him go down, knowing that I'm not gonna get there in time, but like just in case. And he does a great job. We all get back. We all get through. We drag the poor guy who died through because like I feel like all our physics were in the back, and got bounced, which not great. That could be wrong. if you're listening, if anyone who's in charge of it knows, tell me. But yeah, so we get through and we go back, and I go back to start, get my go to my soft kit and start politicking a bit more. Do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I can talk about like this. What I did initially, like I say, a lot of my initial tasks were related to being Strategos proxy, which meant running around looking for a list of very specific people, which included. I think my first target was the Strategos for Urizen. Then it was the Archmage of Day, which is Imperial Orc. Then it was Diem Orum, who was one of the generals and was leading one of the skirmishes. And then I believe it was the KP of Winter. But because they were further down my list, it was whether Ericsson beat me to them or not. Just one of us just wanted to speak to them. There were another couple that were like, we don't need to technically speak to them until Saturday, but if we can find them tonight, it'd be useful. I found exactly one of those people. I managed to find the Urzeli Strategos because luckily I went to the Leo something library, I can't remember now. Their Leopold library, something like that, in Urzen, who knew them and knew rough they would either be at their camp or by the gate. So we went to the gate. I was introduced to them. I'm not going into too much details. I have messaged them over Discord but not heard back, so I'm not going to go through the full list of our conversation. But essentially, they were a bit annoyed with Dawn, specifically the Dawn Strategos, because at Ericsson's first event as Strategos was also the Drottning Botha, which he put a lot of effort into, but it meant that there were a couple of requests from other Strategos where he was like, I'll try, but Dawn, it's a tournament. Dawn are taking it very seriously, whether they are in the tournament or watching the tournament. So the bottom line was we didn't, I even tried to help. I went around looking for people, but we just didn't have, nobody was interested in going on the skirmish. So there was a bit of bad blood. One of the reasons I was sent to speak to them to be look, the last two events have been the Drottning Botha, we had the Manticore tournament. I understand that we've let you down a couple of times, but it wasn't intentional. And, we're here to offer support. If you tell me that you need people, we will find you people. So we had a bit of a nice conversation. I do think that they had started to come around a little bit. They saw that we were earnest and we were trying to help. And they said, look, currently we're okay for skirmishes. Tomorrow may be a different story because we have some later in the day. So come and speak to me in the morning. I said, oh, well, we'll sort that out after the battle tomorrow. I then go to try and find the Archmage of Day in the Imperial Orc camp. I arrive. It's not a bit. I don't know if I'm assuming you've been to the Imperial Orc camp, Dan. Yeah.
Yeah,
for those who have never been before,
it's so good.
It's very good, but it's tiny. By the way,
Yes.
this is a nation, and it is smaller than our lads when it comes to the number of tents. So I go in there, I just ask around, and somebody's like, "Oh, they were here a minute ago. Come over here. They would be part of this group." And they take me over to this group. This person says, "Oh, you've missed them by literally 90 seconds. They stormed off that way, yelling about something literally less than 2 minutes ago." I was like, "Do you know when they're going to be back?" I was like, "I have no idea. I think it might be related to their skirmish. I think they might have been looking for people to help." I was like, "That's what I'm here for." So I fucking go off trying to find them. Have no luck. I start running around trying to find the other people like DMO and a couple of the other people I was meant to look for. Found literally fucking none of them. So I gave it I think it may have been around now that it was starting to get close to dusk. And our friends in the Order of Birdsong were doing their whispers, where they were whispering the dead Earl of their house, so that these Yo of the house could be set tests to become, the Earl of the house, a Knight of the house, a Lord of the house, and could essentially begin reforming the House of Birdsong. So it was somewhere around here when I was running around. I went and watched the whispers. It was very interesting. It was very well done. There was a bit of drama in it, and it was it was very enjoyable to watch. The guys who put it together did such a good job. All Birdsong did a fantastic job, specifically Gwyn and a few of the other ones who the knight errants of the house had done such a good job with their preparations and things. The coven who carried out the ritual did such a good job. It was just very enjoyable. I did actually forgot it because I got there for whenever the whisper started. I did catch a little bit of I don't know if you've heard about this, Dan. I think it's been talked about in the camp, so you might have heard about this, Cian. This person who was blown up by the Phoenix Tulpa?
No, I heard something in passing, but I didn't get much detail. But if you've got that detail, I'd be very interested.
I mean, my knowledge of it is limited because it's magic nonsense, and that is even like OC beyond my ken. But essentially, there was a whole thing, and it's part of the reason why the Regio was broken, to do with the constellations. In that somebody out there fucking somehow made a new constellation. And our Regio works based on being like linked to the Empire knowing all of these constellations. So people have been like trying to figure out what the fuck happened. This person apparently, so the Tulpa, again, a Tulpa in general is a thing that I only have very limited knowledge of, but they're essentially a representation or like a spirit of a thing. So each of the constellations has a Tulpa, which is this like spirit you can interact with, but they are like alien to us. This isn't like dealing with a herald or an eternal, where they're almost, humanoid when they meet with us. This thing is like a spirit. The bottom line is this person who was, I don't know, I think they were like an astromancer. They were a head of one of the orders or organizations or covens or something, interacted with this thing. I don't know if it tricked them. The bottom line is it fucking blew them up. Like, it exploded this person. So when they came through for their whispers, they had been done up, like full body, like full face and body had been done up as if they had been like horrifically burned and were like, burn marks all over it. Like, and when I say burn marks, I don't mean like a little bit. I mean like from their scalp down to the bottom of their face was like red and blistered and bloody. And I think they had it all over their arms and shit as well. They literally looked like they'd been set on fire. And they like come out screaming in pain. And it was very interesting to watch. I followed very little of it, but it was quite interesting to watch. To then go from that to the birdsong whispers, where their Earl comes through, like clutching their side, going, fuck, getting stabbed's a bitch.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so it was very funny. They did such a good job. I was really impressed with it. I got to have like a very quick chat with them afterwards, and I had to run off and keep doing my job, unfortunately.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I didn't get, like, annoyingly, I just spent a lot of time running around, which is part of the job. Like, Ericsson is so good at this, but the difference is he is a lot fitter than I am, in that he's fit at all. So he has no problem with fucking sprinting back and forth across Anvil. I don't have that level of fitness. I think at this point, I think I've done 2 circuits. I've been back to the Imperial Orc camp like twice. It's, as a reminder, fucking hot as well. At this point, I go back to the camp. I just did a drink and a sit down for 5 minutes. I started having a conversation with someone, and I can't remember how the conversation. Oh, it was somebody was asking because I was wearing. That's another thing. This whole time I've been walking around with Sir Nicholas's scabbard on. I've already fixed it to my belt, and I've been literally been walking around the whole time with like a death grip on the pommel of the sword. Trying to like role play that, the being like fucking upset about all of this. So I come back, I sit down, I've got the sword across me, and what somebody else in the camp, I can't remember who, unfortunately, but somebody else starts asking me about it, and fucking Aggravain is sat like just down from me at the same table. And I'm like talking about how I'm going to like, how, they're asking me about my relationship with him, and I was like, I'm, talking about how I protected each other. I talked about carrying on his thing, and they bring this back, and he makes a fucking comment about how, it's nice that some people have that or whatever. Essentially, like trying to like be like give me a jab about the fact that his brother died. And at this point, I just like rounded on him and like just told him to essentially shut the fuck up. He like I said, I just like felt like it. Well, I didn't shout, but I was like I went like like stony, and it wasn't a raised voice, but it was like, you have no idea what you're talking about. I have already agreed to your challenge. And trust me, I will take great enjoyment in kicking your ass tomorrow. But for now, you will shut the fuck up while I'm talking about the dead.
Oh.
And he just went,
go down well?
Oh, he just kind of went, okay. He told me later, out of character, he was like, yeah, about 5 minutes later, I came up with a great comeback, but the conversation had moved on. So at this point, I'm like fucking dying from the heat. I go over to Earl Dorian, who's running his tea house. I'm like, do you have ice? Do you have something cold? And he just filled my tankard up with this, like, I'm not a big one for like iced tea or whatever, but he brought me this like, fruit tea with like loads of ice in it. And I just without taking like a stop, I just drained this fucking tankard. And like, while I'm still drinking, it's like, would you like more? And I'm just going, I just fucking down it and go, and he like leans in and whispers and goes, by the way, while you're here, you're under an aura, which makes you feel relaxed. I'm like, ah, shit, I have my job to do. So I immediately get up.
Just immediately tear ass it across Anvil again.
Yeah. So again, I went to the Imperial Orcs for the third fucking time and still never found this fucking Archmage. Which, to be fair, they were running around trying to fill the skirmish as well, so...
Just while we're on the topic of the sword...
Yes.
Is that the sword I asked to borrow off you when we were talking about... I'll come back to this one after we talk with about the Earl's Council. Because I'm after remembering something that happened at the table in the Lance camp.
Did I not go and get you one of my other swords from the tent?
Possibly, but I think you just gave me the sword that you had.
Because you were looking to like be a bouncer or something, weren't you?
Yeah.
Maybe I can't remember.
Yeah. So after coming back to the skirmish, going to soft kit, still covered in blood. Not gonna. I look into Baron's Council because I kind of want to go see that. But like I kind of got to the wrong point, so I was like, oh, I don't really know what's going on. And I looked into Earl's Council, which I'd been asked to attend. But I saw that no one was in there, so I was like, okay, clearly I'm too early.
Early? Huh.
Yeah.
Hey!
That was.
You're funnier. You're funnier when you don't try. You know, I'm just the what. Like when you don't try, like you come out with some fucking cork as you do, Cian. I have to say.
That's because I don't notice.
Very true. Very true.
But yeah, no, I was too early, so I was like, okay, I'll go back to Baron's Council. And by the time, like, I leave Baron's Council 20 minutes early to go to Earl's Council, and by the time I get there, which is even though it's just across the Glory Square, the tent is full. And now instead of sitting down and having a nice seat, I'm now standing for the entirety of Earl's Council, which is long. There was some interesting things brought up. So one of the people who was going to that Tissel had got to back me for Night Protector was mentioned. Mentioning the fact that they competed in a Night Protectors tourney as not a noble, which you're not allowed to do, and that they pretended to be an earl, and that they refused to test resolve, like a bunch of stuff you're just not allowed to do as a noble or as a yo in Dawn, and like this caused so much uproar, and I was just like, I could really use this against Tissel. Ooh, I could really, because like myself and Tissel, we're both going for the earlship. Once Gwen steps down, we're going like that. We're going to try and gain support from the rest of the house on who should be earl. I still think I will win. I would have won, and I have no way. There's no way of disproving that. But yeah, that's going on. I was like, and honestly, such a cool fucking game. That this guy has just accidentally caused all the drama. And like someone even goes, has anyone gone to the Dawnish National Insight Committee and got them to investigate him? And he's just like, yeah, he's a member of the Dawnish Insight Committee. It's like, maybe he shouldn't be.
Brilliant.
So yeah, we go through that, and then we the main topic is for the Earl's Council is brought up, which is the manse. So basically, the Earl of the Groves, the Manticore, had this big fuck off mansion that has resources, and is really good. And Earl's Council got to decide who got the manse, as it was called. And And all this kind of, debate really put into my head was first past the post voting doesn't fucking work. Okay? You have to do multiple votes. There is no fucking way. Like, the main people going for it were some people were saying the strategist should get it. There was one person saying that the prophet hand, which is like a anti-slavery, like helping refugee freed slaves organization, they should get it. There was one person saying that the merchant of the fangs, who helps get resources from the Karas and other orcs within the area, that they should get it. And then there was one, and then someone was saying that Temperance, the current Earl of the Groves, the one noble of the Manticore our house, that they should get it because it's their ancestral home. Have they been living it for long? No, but
also, they were supporting a literal monster for the crown.
Yeah, and I have to give it to everyone fucking involved. This was great roleplay to watch. Because Temperance was being called out for lies and then still convincing people to their cause. And like, you could just see everything going mad. And like, it was just honestly, fucking love World's Council when it's interesting. When it's good, it's good. But yeah, so we eventually did the vote, and because I think they did the strategist first, and I voted for that because that is what, as voice of the Earl, I was told to vote in the way that I thought Gwen would vote. And this was specifically, she told me it should go to a military or martial title. So I was like, okay, it goes strategist. That's the only one who's been mentioned. And like 4 people voted for that. Like 5 people voted for Merchant of Fangs. 5 people voted or like maybe 6 people voted for the Prophet's Hand. So like a good chunk of people voted more, like way more people voted for not Temperance than Temperance.
Win it?
Temperance fucking won it.
I didn't even know this. That's so funny.
Because
Holy
even though
shit.
more people voted not for Temperance to get it, but because we did one vote, where you could only vote once.
Amazing.
This is not me giving out to the person who ran it. They did an amazing job. It's more just, this is why voting has to be done a very specific way, or you get bullshit things.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of calls back to what I mentioned in the last episode with the Thorns vote for the general, where it was like the people the Thorns wanted in was like 2/3 of everything, like way outweighed than any other like candidate, and they went, well, we're not going to go with them anyway. And you're like, what?
So yeah, that was mental, and it was like, I actually don't know what happens now if there is no other nobles in that house. I think there's one Yeofolk and then Temperance. If Temperance dies, the manse just goes to, it just stays with like that house, but the house doesn't really, like, there's no one in it. Now anyone can just like reclaim the house. That's just something you can do. But yeah, it's just like, it's made things messy when it should have just gone to an Imperial title. But that's just my own opinion. And that would have been Hadrian's opinion. But hey,
mental.
But yeah, I did that, and then we went back to camp, and I mentioned to Thistle, hey, do you know that person, Madrosa, that you wanted to back me? No! Don't fucking let them back me. That's a terrible idea. And then I had to explain all of this. And the person who was buying stuff from the the Emporium was the person who had done all the investigating. So we just went, cool, can you tell us all this information? And then we heard all the information. And then who walks in but Medrosa's Earl? And just like, hey, do you want to tell us all this information? And then who walks by? Medrosa, who sits down. And I can and it's been explained to him what he has to do to like fix this, because the so Dan, do you know about the House of Fools?
No, I don't. Please explain.
They're a house of fools.
It's self-explanatory, honestly.
Fair enough. Thank you very much for the explanation. Now I know what the House of Fools is.
No. So
Clues in the name.
They're basically what, like, from way it's been kind of described to me, is they are the last hope for a Dawnish person to get glory.
Right. Okay.
So if you feel like you cannot get your testimonial anywhere else, or like you feel like this person has failed their testimonial so many times, they failed it like 3 times due to just issues, and like everyone is going, hey, let's fucking kick this person out of, like, there's so people were kind of going, hey, let's go kill him, let's go bring him to the militia and they can execute him. Your Earl was like, hey, let's give him a brown tabard of the houseless, which is like a big fuck off. Yeah. And the Fool of Ambition was like, because all the people in the House of Fools guise as like, so the Earl of Fools is just called the Earl of Fools. They're guising as this person who's always been the Earl of Fools. And I feel like it's the same for the rest of them. And they were
I have been told that everyone in the house spends a lot of time guising, whether it's constant or just a lot of time, but apparently there's like been, somebody has told me in passing that like there's a belief that this has caused like, you know, issues with their personalities, in that like they're even when they're not guising, they don't feel like themselves and stuff.
So if you feel like this is their last chance, you go to the House of Fools and they will give you a testimonial.
Right. Okay.
It's your last chance.
And if that goes wrong, then you're fucked.
You're fucked. Absolutely.
Right.
Fucked.
Okay. Makes sense.
And they've been so we're like, I'm watching all this, and this being explained to Medrosa, and Medrosa just slowly goes, I can't do this. I can't do this again and again. It's like and like I'm going for a second. Oh shit! Is this about to get violent? So I don't have my sword on me because I fucking left it down.
Oh yes, this is when I'm sat at. Yes, this is when I'm sat here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I go, Alrayus, can I have your sword?
I do remember. Yeah, I remember. I just gave you the one out of the scabbard, which was Sir Nicholas's sword, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And you were just like, "Just
in case."
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then Medrosa starts crying. I'm like, nope, I misread this situation. This is not. Yeah, no. There is no violence here, except maybe to oneself. Yeah, and I put it away. I'm trying to think what, and after that I do another few rounds of like round trying to politic a bit. I got a few more people. I got an old drinking buddy of mine. Like I literally, my first event, I just went on a massive pub crawl with this guy, and then 5 events later, he's now in charge of a lance. So I'm like, hey, do you want to help me? Are you fighting anyone for KP? No. Cool. Do you want to fight for me? And they went, yes. And then who are we fighting? Oh, I think Vesper, like this really powerful summer mage, might be involved. Shit, they're in my house. It's like, hey, if you could find out if they're fighting, that'd be great. Turns out Vesper was not fighting in that. I was like, great. I have a better chance now. So yeah, that was a whole fucking rodeo. I do a bit more of that, and then I finally just like, okay, I've done what I can. Everyone's just drinking and enjoying themselves now. And I sit down at the tea shop, the Griffin-tail tea shop, and I read what the roleplay effect is. Something along the lines of, you feel carefree and at ease. You can ignore one role-playing effect that you already have.
Nice.
So I read this and I go, oh, fuck! Do you know what it's like to be fucking uncomfortable and damp for 3 fucking months? Okay? I haven't been able to fucking sleep. Okay? I just go on this big rant for about 10 minutes on how uncomfortable I've been.
But
Amazing.
you're taking it really well though, which is the important thing. You know, you've taken it really, really well, and you've not let it affect you personally. You know.
And I'm just like, and then I'm asked about my test of metal, and I go, oh fuck! Don't even get me started on the fucking test of metal, because I couldn't actually, there's no actual glory in it because it didn't really fucking exist. And I'm like, it's every bit of tension that's been in Hadrian for like the last 6 months just gets released.
Yeah.
And then I get a shot of coffee vodka, and I'm like, cool, great. Oh, this is terrible. Anyways, oh my god. And we just kind of continue on that, like, as I'm just like talking and like just relaxed, and it genuinely feels like I have released tension that I didn't know existed.
It's like when you bend down and your back cracks, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my god, I can move!"
Yeah,
like.
So much so though that I decide that Hadrian, instead of going back to his tent and sleeping in a bed where he'd be wet and damp, that I see Hadrian slept on that chair outside that tea house, just in the cold, just like, it's better than being fucking damp. And I don't remember I don't think anything else of major note happened on Friday for me. Not that I can remember. What about you, Jordan?
Yeah, what about you, Jordan?
Right, I've muted myself while I was coughing. I'm trying to think. This is the annoying thing. I spent so much time running around. I looked for all these people I needed to find. Eventually ran into Dame Orem, but I'm pretty sure by the time I got to them, I think Erickson was already speaking to them. So I just like walked and was like, "Oh, hey, I see that Archdragos has already found you. Do you need any more numbers? I am happy to attend if you need." And they're like, "I think we could do with the help." So I was like, "Oh, that's in 20 minutes." So I had to like run to camp, get fully girded, and then sprinted to the gate and arrived while everyone else was already lined up, just like huffing and puffing. And like stood near the front of the line. There was it's really annoying me because they were the one who carried out the whispers for the birdsong whispers, and I cannot for the life of me remember their name. I did get their name, I just didn't get a chance to write it down. But they wore like a black and white dress, long like silvery hair. They've spoken in the Glory Square a couple of times before any of the major conjunctions. But annoyingly, I just can't remember if they were just a mage or if they were an enchantress. But
Enchantress Mortaire.
it might be Enchantress Mortaire, maybe. But they were stood at the front and they were like asking, like, does anyone want to like be my shield? I was like, I'll be your shield. And I was like, good, I don't plan on running. And I was like, fucking perfect. So we line up. I've offered to like stand on their side to make sure that nobody hits them. We start like marching down, and I don't know why, but they kept bringing us into the like you had to like march down the whole length of Anvil to like get into like a specific gate for almost every battle and almost every skirmish I saw was like going through that gate. So we were joking about how like they're making us walk this way to tire us out. I said, look, I already did my fucking glory charge. It was going from the camp to the gate to get here in time. So we get on, and I'm not joking. I don't even think everyone is like fully through the gate, and we can already see. I think it was Druge we're fighting because it was in Sarengrave, I want to say, and not even everyone's already through the gate. There was a bunch of generals on this one for whatever reason, and they immediately. Because we had there's a couple of Donish generals. We had Amberlin, the Fire of the Marches, was on it. I did get to exchange a couple of little like funny bits with them as well, but like. They just like we weren't even through the gate and they were like charge and everyone just fucking like sprinted off in different directions and I was like,
oh
nope.
no.
this enchantress next to me was like, I'm not doing that, and we just sauntered into the field. And like every time we were like start walking towards a bit of a battle, most of the people there would be dead, and we're like, oh, let's find a different one. I think I hit like 3 people. It was great.
Just as a quick aside, do you know how they explained when the game started why Dawn had no like major imperial titles or anything?
Because they keep dying.
No, they all went on a glory charge together
Yeah.
and died. It's
Yeah.
called like Brita's last charge or something.
Yeah.
I was like, shit. Imagine if that happened again.
I mean, you say that like there hasn't been a number of major battles where all of the generals in the front line have charged off ahead of everyone else. It happens regularly.
Yeah. Almost every event.
Yeah. So
almost every single event.
We mopped this up. I don't think anyone died. I don't think there was even close to anyone dying. I did suffer a traumatic injury, though.
Ooh. What was your traumatic injury? No! For anyone who is listening to this in audio format, Jordan has just held up his flower crown, which...
my antlers.
Yeah, flower crown. We said the same thing, but in different words. It is antlers, but it also contains his flower crown. And unfortunately, for those at home that are only listening to this in audio format, the horrifying image of one antler being left on that flower crown is what we've just seen, and therefore are now all equally heartbroken.
Yeah, I lost an antler. Some Druge completely misjudged a spear shot and just fucking whacked me in the head. Like, not even like a stab, like a swipe, clocked me on the head and cracked the headband that the antler was attached to. And like, weirdly, the antler itself survived. It's my headband, the little bit that it was like screwed onto, snapped.
Okay.
So I had to be like, wait, stop, wait. Picked it up off the ground, put it in my belt. I was like, okay, continue.
Oh, mate, so sorry to hear of your loss.
Yeah.
That really puts like a real dampener on a LARP weekend.
Yeah.
The loss of an
it was
antler.
awful.
Yeah.
You know,
foreshadowing is a literary device. So anyway, we finished the skirmish. I go back. I'm fucking wrecked just from doing the sprinting up and down. At this point, I think similarly, I literally cannot remember anything like specific that happened. I know I had like a number of different conversations with people, but I'm just really struggling to remember specifics of a lot of them. I think I sat down and chatted with our Earl and his good lady for a little bit. He had been and done some day ritual, and I only found out after the fact because he was like, because it had been a day ritual, he was a bit like loopy from it. But he kept talking about the beacon. I was like, yes, the beacon. Yes, well done. I only found out later. No, it's the fucking name of the new constellation. They finally figured it out. He was like, because I had been talking about seeing this person who'd been killed by the Phoenix Tulpa. So he was like, being like, yes, the beacon. I was like, yes, good, the beacon. And found out afterwards he was actually like responding to me. So it was very fun. But I think after that, we spent the evening in camp. We had the Lance meeting where we found out from Leoric that the previous, obviously we talked about it already, but at E2, we had the 3 Lances, ourselves, Ardent, and Orem. I keep getting it wrong. Yeah. The 3 of us functioned as a wing. At E3, both Ardent and Orem were down a few numbers, so we were still going to function as a single unit, but they were going to essentially just meld in with us, and we would just be referred to as the Emerald Lance. I think part of that was also because Orem was the field marshal, or the national marshal, I want to say. So they weren't leading their lance. But bottom line was, we get told all about this. And then we get told the super encouraging piece of information, which was that the field marshal who had been voted in ran uncontested and didn't have a fucking plan.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
nice.
We're all like, yay, this is super encouraging. And we all sat and bitched for a bit and had a few drinks, and then we went and got ready for bed. And then the next morning we woke up for the battle that we're all super excited for.
Yes.
I mean,
however, looking at the clock, I think what we do is put a very nice bow on this episode, because given the amount of time we have left to record, what we don't want, and what I certainly don't want, is for you to have to rush through this next little section. I think it would be doing yourselves an injustice. It wouldn't be fair on the listeners to kind of rush through what happened next. So I think we tie this up in a nice little bow here. And in the next episode, at the very start, we then tell them all about the big battle and what actually happened. What do you guys think about that? Oh, you muted, Jordan.
So I think you're probably responding to the message I sent, which was more so just me saying, let's stop talking about Friday and move on to Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to jump into it now, we can jump into it now. I do not mind.
We can do it in half an hour.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we wake up and it's pretty good moods despite the fact that like
I've been made third again for the I forgot to mention that the night before because we were told at the meeting they have found the 2 third little that our first and second have like a little metal pennant thing they wear to indicate the first and second. The thirds have these 2 little like fabric pins. So because we have 2. It was myself and Earl Lucian. I believe he's not Earl, yeah. Earl Lucian are 2 thirds. So I wake up, I'm third again. I'm going into this being like, okay, at least, regardless of what the upper echelons are doing, our internal structure, we're strong. We have people who with experience doing these positions. We should be okay.
Yeah, and I'm like pretty happy. I'm making the decision, do I go shield, sword and board, or do I do greatsword? And I decide that I should go sword and board, even though we probably have enough sword and boards. But hey, it's fun. Always fun to go sword and board. This decision would not affect me in any way. And we go and we get ready. We go to the Glory Square. When we get to the Glory Square, I hear 2 kind of bits of information. One, there are 30% more enemies than expected.
No.
30% fewer Dawnish.
Sorry, apologies.
Yeah, so it wasn't that the monsters had more. You guys just had 30% less.
And for the record, this was sent out as a message as this came from Pete. Well, again, we were told, and we said this at the beginning of the last recap. All the information we're working on is what we were told in character. We were told this came from like the civil service, PD, essentially, saying that there had been a miscalculation and that we had 30% fewer people than anticipated.
Yeah, that is just within Dawn, I believe. I don't think that was across the whole.
No.
The whole
it was
fight.
It was
Dawn. Just Dawn had 30% fewer numbers than they were anticipating.
Yeah,
the night prior. During military council, they made a mistake, I believe. And again, this is just what we've heard.
Essentially affected the weightings.
Exactly that. So Dawn went in with fewer fighting, with a lesser fighting force than they were anticipating.
Like 2 thirds, which is mad.
Yeah. Well, you were a third down, so
so I mean, we had 2 thirds of our force.
I think you were down by about 30 or 40 people.
Yeah,
all told,
which is a lot. Surprisingly, the exact number of people who went after Wintermark.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. And in a fight that contains about 2,000 to 3,000 people, or 2,000 people, or whatever, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. Like it does. Especially
when your nations fight in blocks. It's very rare that the nations are like fully mixed together. You're almost always, even if you share a line, you're almost always in a block.
Yeah.
But anyway,
just to be clear, I'm not actually blaming the Serrated Claws. I'm just being a dick. What was I going to say? And then I got told as well that we were going to expect heavy troops. That all the emus have been told the
elite military units.
Yeah.
Sorry, elite monstering units. Sorry,
units have been told to go in their clankiest gear, give Dawn a good fight.
I don't think it was specifically to give Dawn a good fight. I think they were given the instruction, go out there and give them hell.
Yeah.
So
this really should have, affected our mood, but clearly it didn't really. And it also should have affected how the battle was planned. Specifically, like the reserves going first, which is interesting. But I'm not a battle tactician. And we were kind of getting ready, still kind of pretty in a good mood, going into the battle. How are you feeling going in?
So I was okay until we got to the gate. And then I think I've mentioned this in the past, but obviously with the thing with Alrayus in the house and the thing that we had going on with Mercury, This was the first battle that Mercury did not come to see them off at the gate. And that was the thing that worried him.
Okay.
So we get to the gate. We have people like going around. You know, people are like stretching. They're doing their calisthenics. People are like coming around with sunscreen to make sure you've got your protection from the sun magic and day magic. And yeah, we're all a bit like, oh, why are we being sent in as reserves? Why are we being sent in first? And we're at the gate. We're lined up. We're waiting. Everyone's still like laughing and joking. I think there's a picture like of a bunch of us in the lance all like sharing a laugh about something. And then we start marching onto the field.
Yeah. Oh, while this is all happening, people in my house are getting all the potions and resources ready for my KP tourney. And I was told afterwards that it's coming to about three or four thrones worth of resources that they were going to get ready for me, which would have been great. And it really would have helped me for that battle. But hey, I was going to use them later.
I think one thing that's important to mention as well was how the field was set up when your forces hit the field. You had enemy forces from your immediate left wrapped round in a pretty much a semicircle right round to your immediate right. You were completely enclosed in as soon as you hit the field. It wasn't like all of the monstering forces were at the far right side of the field and you could create a line and there was that movement. You had a complete almost semicircle of enemy forces from as you walked through the gate.
I will say from what we saw when we stepped in, we were told, like, we are holding this area, go over there. There was a lot of enemies. I wouldn't say it was fully encircled.
No. What I'm suggesting is there were small groups of units spread out across the entire field. It wasn't like they were all off to the left, so everyone could get into a decent formation and then move forward. There were small units everywhere, which caused a lot of confusion for you guys.
Well, essentially, I don't know if you noticed this, Cian, but I was right on the front line when this happened. I was right on one edge because we had been told, as a lance, when we came in, we were to go forward, and then on the command, we were to sweep right.
Yeah.
So we move forward, and right as Leoric begins giving the command to sweep right, somebody else behind us begins screaming, sweep left. And there was immediate confusion, because as we've stepped forward, all of the Druge in front of us have started to push in, and there's a group to our right, and there's a group to our left. So one person is screaming swing right, one person is screaming swing left, and it's up to me and Earl Lucian, who are on the left-hand side of our... Was it Lucian or Roderick? It was one of the two of us who were on that edge specifically for this reason, to make sure that our unit went in the same direction, are literally like pushing someone, like, fucking ignore them, go right. Yeah. And immediately our line split. Yeah. And you had one group going one direction, one group going another. And I'm immediately like screaming to people, like, be aware, because if those ones behind us get overwhelmed or they decide to go round them, they're going to come at our backside. We hit our first line of Druge. Now, this was the one like genuinely funny thing that happened, for me at least, for the whole battle. We hit this line of Druge, we take a few of them down, and we're like not chasing after them, but we're charging them. But we take a few of the early runners down, and one guy falls, but he's not wearing a mask. But I've clearly just been watching him killing us. And he's not husked. Like, this is a guy who was in the line. He hits the ground. We have the Order of Birdsong behind here, like in our support block. He goes down. I'm screaming, execute him. And I watch as Sir Rin of the Order of Birdsong steps over and starts trying to heal him. And I have to reach down and grab them and go, fucking stop getting the enemy up. I like push them away, and they're like, I didn't know. And
Jesus
Christ.
And
I'm screaming, somebody else fucking execute them. And then somebody else knees on and cuts their throat.
Yeah.
But it's like the first thing you do on the field is try to heal the enemy. So
I don't know how I got so... Like, I ended up near the other side of the field at one point. I don't know how I got there.
Really, I mean, I can tell you. As the lines get hit, we started to spread a little bit, trying to like get our line set. It was about this time that the line that swept to the left were getting pushed further and further back. So we then had to start pulling back to prevent them, like, essentially going back to back with us. So then what happened was, as these two lines converged and started like hitting each other, we had to start spreading out more. And that was when everything started like moving. So the people who were in the back line who were supporting were then meeting another back line, and people started spreading out. And that was when we started like, this was the point we started to make this like V, because we had a group coming that way, a group coming this way, and we just ended up being like this. There was a point literally when I was like this.
Yeah.
Because as the two lines were coming together, we had less and less space, because what was happening was nobody in the command block behind us was accounting for this press at the point. So I literally stepped back at one point, went over to Leoric and said, because he was, Lance commander at the time, and I was like, Leoric, we need to get this line shifting to the right. Because what's going to happen is this point is going to get tighter and tighter, and the Drusian is going to spread around and wrap us. And he says, okay, start giving the commands. So I walk down the line and I start screaming, you, step right. And I'm trying to pull the line down. The problem is, when you have a big line of people and you're screaming, step right, the second you stop screaming, step right, they stop fucking stepping. And then we got hit again by another wave. Yeah. So, like, at this point, it's like, I can't fucking stand here and, like, tell 200 people to step to the right 5 times.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to, like, rejoin the battle. There is a picture at one point where I saw, like, a gap in the line open up because somebody got struck down. I had to, like, rejoin the line. And I think this is when I spotted you, Dan, like, in the far line, but you were too far away to interact with. But I step in, I put the shield up over this person, we get them lifted up, and I'm, like, screaming for physics. And it's just chaos at this point. I don't know if anything else interesting happened to you at this point, Cian, or if we want to get back on to when things started to go to shit.
Basically, things started to just go to shit. Like, I was at that feat, like at the and like I was moving back because like my entire thing is once I get to 2 hit points, I get the fuck out. Like that is how I've stayed alive. And I'm like that. I'm going, okay, I get healed, I go back, and then as I'm like pushing back, I can just see that if I leave where I am, there's about 10 Dawnish people who are gonna get killed. So I just like, shit, I have to stay here. And I stay as long as I fucking can. And as we're like continuing going, eventually I just go, shit, they're already dead. There's no way about this. So I start pulling back, and at that point it's already too late. So I'm pulling back, and again and again. Eventually I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I got downed, but now I have 2 unstoppables. So pop first unstoppable. Dude, I jumped into the new line because I was like the last person left on this old line before I got encircled. And I'm back on 3 hit points. Stab, right in the back. I pop another unstoppable. Try and move back. Stab. I fall to the ground. I look to my left. Leoric has also fallen. And I grab, and as we're both falling, we're like this far away from each other. And I grab his hand, and I set my death count. And a ref comes up and goes, "Hey, what number are you on?" And I go, "Oh, it just started." And then as the ref is talking, a Druge comes by and just goes, "Venom," to Leoric. And then he goes,
"Oh no!"
And then Leoric goes, "Well, it's a lot shorter now." So I'm just Hadrian's just there, kind of like slowly bleeding out, seeing the line go further and further away. Nothing he can do. And then he sees Leoric, who he told people he was going to start calling brother by the end of the summit. Stand up, rise again, as a monster. The one thing Carleone hunts. Get up and just run towards the line. And I see him knowing that's what's going to happen to Hadrian in about a minute. And then Hadrian dies and rises again. So what happened to you, Jordan?
Oh, holy shit.
When you were getting pushed back, I had come back out of my, similar to you, I'd take a few hits, I came back, I got healing, and I scanned the line, and I'm looking for the danger point. And I can see, like, taking in the view at this point, those two original lines are getting just more and more enclosed. I head back to the point, because the point is failing at this point. People are too tight. They cannot, like, fight properly. So I'm trying to, like, organize a few people, trying to pull people to one way, like, move them from one place to another. And I look over, and a fucking hole opens about 7 or 8 people down the left-hand side of this line. And they've knocked a couple of people down. There are not enough physics here to get people up. They are starting to push this line apart. And I just fucking scream, "Fill that gap!" And I rush forward, throw my shield into the line, and realize that I've been followed by Sir Gwyn of Birdsong, who is a battle physic, who only takes the line when absolutely necessary, and they throw their shield in next to mine. And I scream, "Hold this line." And we hold. And we hold. And I get stabbed. And we hold. And I get stabbed. And after I've been stabbed about 7 times, I look over my shoulder, about to scream for a physic. And when I look over my shoulder, I realize there is one person behind me, and behind them is another person facing the other direction, with a line of Druge in front of them. The lines are now like this. I am essentially back to back with the line facing the opposite direction. I look at Gwyn, and I realize that this is it. We are not getting rescued. There's no way, like, if I were to step back, I'd be stepping back into another line. I look to my left, and I realize there is a solid 30 or 40 people that are just back to back with another line. There is nowhere to go here. I use the last of my hero calls to try and, like, get some time, and I am just stabbed over and over, because there's literally a wall of Druge with spears. There's only so much of your body you can protect with a shield, and every time I raise it high to protect my shoulder, somebody stabs me in the leg. So as I lower to protect my leg, somebody stabs me in the shoulder, and I go down. And then somebody cleaves Gwyn beside me, and more people just start dropping. And at this point, the refs step in and say, "Look, the Druge cannot advance because there's another line behind you, so everyone here, step over the dead people, and we're going to move the line over here." And we're all just left. The line is now 30 yards. Like, this wasn't like the line moved a few feet. This was like 30 yards away. They are gone. Because the nearest line behind us, the one that Cian was, like, battling for, was 30 yards away already. They were the ones who managed to move back. We were not. We're on the ground, and I look at Gwyn and I go, "Hey, can you remember the rules for drinking potions? Can you drink one when you're doing a countdown?" And they're like, "I'm not sure, but I am only cleaved. I have a potion, so I can just take the Osseum solution and then give you one." I was like, "I've got one in my pocket." So I technically drank my own potion, but we retconned it afterwards to say that they took their Osseum for the broken leg, and I took they fed me my potion. So we were on the ground. Nobody else around us has a potion in their pocket, and I only had the one. Because I go into battle carrying one Osseum and one
Elixir Vitae.
And Gwyn had already used all of theirs. So there are people around us, like, asking, "Do you have more?" I was like, "No, this is it." And they're like, "If you get back, tell my lance or tell my group, that I fell." And I was like, "I will." I had no chance of remembering any of their names for the record. So if I promised any of you guys I was bringing your information back, fucking no chance. Sorry. So I turned to Gwyn. At this point, I have genuinely forgot that husks are a thing. If either of us had used either of our fucking brain cells, we would have pretended to husk and get back. Both of us genuinely forgot. So I just turned around, I looked, and I said, "There's the lance banner. As soon as the Druge here have, like, turned away from us, we're going to sprint." And they were like, "Okay." And I waited. And as soon as everyone had their back turned, I said, "No." And I got up and I just fucking started running. The second I took off, didn't one of the fucking Druge turn around and go, "We have a runner!" And immediately I was just fucking converged on. The first guy to fucking hit me was a fucking mage who entangled me. So I was like, well, shit. And fucking 5 of them came over, started stabbing me, and one guy just fucking similar to Leora, just walked up and went, Venom, and just fucking walked off.
Yeah.
So I waited for the entangle to finish, fell to the ground, and was just like, well, this is it. I look over, I can see Gwyn is also on the ground. Neither of us have made it. And I just lie there, and I prop my shield up over my head just to give me a bit of shade. Because again, it's very fucking hot.
Yeah, it's like 30 degrees, yeah.
So I'm lying there for a good, like, I'm not even bothering to count at this point. I'm just enjoying a lie down because I was fucked. And then fucking Leoric walks over and goes, you down too? And I was like, yeah, what the fuck are you doing up? He went, oh, I'm a husk. I was like, oh, I forgot about that. And he's like, do you want a husk? He's like, mate, I'm lying down. Leave me alone. Like, I'm not getting up again. So he then wanders off to do husk things. And then our good friend, Noah, I believe it was.
Yeah, Idris, yeah.
Yeah, Idris, as an orc, comes over and like just crouches beside me and goes, hey, how's it going? I was like, well, I'm fucking dead. And he goes, oh, what's in your pockets? I was like, you fucker.
Yeah, so let's move on very swiftly from that. Let's move on very, very swiftly from that.
We did. He came to me after. I literally gave him all the shit in my pockets. And he came to me afterwards like, I am so sorry. I completely forgot we were told, do not fucking rifle. And I was like, it's fine. I'm dead. You can keep. I was like, no. And he literally gave me everything back. And he's like, I'm not doing that. It's like, we were told not to do it. I shouldn't have done it. I was like, oh, that's fine. But he legitimately just fucking sat with me. And I was like, do you want to go and like fight again? And I was like, mate, you guys are fucked. They don't need my help. I can sit with you for a bit. And he legitimately sat with me for like a good 5 minutes, just keeping me company, talking to me, like asking me what happened. And then another druid came over. I don't know if it was somebody else from your group, but another guy came over and saw that we were talking. And he was like, he's still alive? I was like, no, I've been dead for ages. And he's like, do you not want to husk? And I was like, mate, I'm fucked. And he goes, yeah, but if you husk, they can get your body back. And I was like, fuck it, you've sold me. Help me up, boys. And these two guys fucking pull me to my feet. And at this point, when I get up, I can see that Sir Gwyn is currently sitting with another member of the Order of Birdsong, who I did not realize had fallen. This was their first event.
Oh.
They are not having a good time. So I walk over and I just tell them, like, look, fucking shit time, isn't it? But hey, listen, we're going to husk. And even Gwyn was like, why? I was like, because if we husk, they can get our body back. And they're like, oh, no, we have to do that then. So we all like get ourselves up, we get ourselves prepared. I'm like, okay, let's go. Zombie time. And we start like fucking like stumbling towards the line. And all of the Druids see this and they're all screaming, husks, move out of the way. And then one dickhead, I don't know if it's because it was his first event or something, literally moved in my way and started hitting me. And I had to be like under my breath, go, mate, fuck off. I'm trying to get my body back. And he just walked away. So I pick out the lance banner again, and I just go straight for the lance banner. I know as a husk you're supposed to like attack indiscriminately, but like, fuck it, I'm dead. I don't care. So I like pick out the banner. I know that Gwyn and I'm really struggling to remember the other member of Birdsong who died, but the two of them are behind me, and I start stumbling towards the line. Fucking Alarin DeVere, Jack, sees me coming, pushes his way through. Bear in mind, at this point, there's only like a small line protecting the gate. The vast majority of people are off the field. There's a small line. It was a miracle the lance banner was even still here. I stumble towards this line, and Lord Alarin DeVere pushes his way through the line, points at me, and screams, "Put him down!" And I step forward, lunge, and land one blow on his shield before fucking 5 people lay into me and just start kicking the shit out of me. And then he screams, "Get him through the gate!" And like, God bless them, I think they were a physic of some sort, came and like picked me up and like carried me through the gate so that Lord Alarin could continue to hold the line, because he also saw Birdsong coming and he wanted to make sure they got them back as well. And like, if you happen to listen to this, they went and like asked on the missed connections on Facebook. It's like, hey, you were the Donish guy that I carried off the field. I hope you made it back to your lance okay, and I made it back to your house. So they were like genuine, because I was like stood chatting to them as they were carrying me out. And then I was like, well, hey, look, if you're wanting to like help more people, like you've got me through the gates. Like if you want to go help more people, I'm waiting for those two to come through. Like we can make our way back together. And technically they should have carried us back to the gate, but we're like, fuck it, we're dead, whatever. So they go back. Birdsong come through, and I'm like, all right, come on, let's look. When we get back to the actual gates, because like Brooklyn said before, the two gates have this massive line, like path between them now, where when we get through the void and we get to the gate, we're going to have a big dramatic fall. Okay, we're ready? We're at the gate. 3, 2, 1, and we all just fucking fall over. So a bunch of people like rush forward, like pick us, like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I was like, I'm dead. And they're like, fuck. Can we get you out of the way of the gate at least? I was like, yeah, I've had my moment. So they like pull us to the side. A bunch of the lads see me and they rush over. They're like asking me like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I was like, oh, I'm dead. And they like pull me over to the side and they lay me out. And a bunch of people start coming. And I'm gonna be honest, it hasn't really hit me at this point. I'm still like making little jokes. Like I'm lying there with my eyes closed, and then somebody will say stuff out like, "Oh, fucking is it? I fucking whatever." Just making little jokes until I see Mercury running towards me, and I'm like, "No, I'm not fucking looking at you. If I open my eyes, I will cry." And they like ran over, and like people came and spoke over me, and like Mercury came, and then had to like they could say that they had to leave as well, and then I get carried back to the Glory Square, and I am laid out in the Glory Square with some of the other dead who have been recovered. And there's I think only a handful of people actually got brought back to the square. I think a lot of people were just taken to their camp. But I got laid out in the Glory Square. And I was genuinely shocked. Like, I'm not talking like 30 or 40 people, but I was genuinely shocked like how many people came and like spoke to Alrayus. And like, talked about him. Like the allies that he had like made friendships with in like House Elian, members of the Lance who like I didn't consider him to be particularly close with. Earl Roderick came because like at our first event I had like gifted him one of the Talon necklaces that I made. He came and like returned that to me. And yeah, it was fucking hard. This is when it started to become like heartbreaking. And I started to get a bit emotional. And yeah, I lay there for a bit while people came and spoke. And then we got taken back to the camp. There was a couple of other bits happened, but I think I'll save those for the later bit of the recap because they were technically a bit later after the battle. But Alrayus and Hadrian, Knight Errant and Lord, unfortunately, did not manage to return from this particular battle.
Shit, boys.
Yep. It's, as we say in the business, a bit of a shit one.
Bit of a shit one. But yeah, fucking Christ, it was a shit show of a battle.
We didn't fucking mention the leadership thing in the battle, did we?
No, we didn't. You know what? We can talk about that later.
Yeah,
at a different point. Mainly because I think we should get someone on who was like a bit more involved, just to be like, yeah. But yeah, that was a shit show. And I do genuinely think like there was a couple of things that could have saved Hadrian. Taking those fucking potions, getting those potions organized the night before and taking them that morning. It would have been wasted for the Night Protector story, but he'd been fucking alive. And also, if I'd gone Greatsword, I would have been in the back most of it.
Yeah.
I decided to do Shield.
Yeah, I was thinking, I think even if we had pretended to husk, because obviously I'm pretty sure rules-wise, if you pretend to do something like that, if somebody asks you, you have to be honest with them.
Yeah, tell them the truth, yeah.
So even if we had pretended to husk, we were so far away from the line. There were so many trees between us. All it would have taken is one to be like, hey, are you really a husk? Just to be like, shit. So like, we might have tricked our way out of it. We might have got a bit of the way. Maybe. But ultimately, on the run-up, where Alrayus ended up in the line, what the decisions he made, where he placed himself, I would not change that. Yeah. Because that was Alrayus. That was what he did. He put himself in the way to protect other people. And I've said it before, but he died exactly where he would have wanted to. And just because it relates to the battle, and it did give me a little bit of catharsis, but we were talking during Packdown to Ben Percival, who was essentially, I don't know if proxy is the right term or the second, but he was assisting the National Marshal.
Yeah.
And he told me during Packdown that they were looking at the situation at the time, and they knew that the line that I was in was lost. And he turned to the National Marshal and he said, if we give the command to pull everyone back, except that line, we might survive, but we will sacrifice that line. And he said this full in the knowledge that a good portion of that line was made up of his lance. And God bless the National Marshal apparently turned to him and said, I cannot give that order. And Percival said, I can. And he gave the order that led to Alrayus' death. But he said, and these were his exact words, he gave the order knowing that you would die, that Dawn might survive.
He gave that order specifically to Leoric, his lord, his noble. And Leoric went, "You know we're going to die." And it was myself and Leoric who ended up dying.
Yeah.
He sacrificed his own house.
He sacrificed.
What a prick! You hear this?
I mean,
you hear this, Sharpie? You're a prick. No.
Yeah, how dare
you? We mentioned it at the on the last episode, but this was, I don't think it was the largest amount of casualties ever. But it was close. But it was close, and it was more than Sweetglades. And we mentioned so Sweetglades goes down as being like one of the biggest losses to the Empire in a single event.
Well, it was to Dawn.
We've just suffered more casualties at the last event than we have for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And I think people will be talking about this for a long time.
Sweetglades was a thing because it was specifically Dawn, which is why you mostly hear Daunish talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
This was, I think, Dawn, Highguard, and the Marchers, numbers-wise, not percentage of nation, but numbers-wise, all had similar losses.
Yeah.
The other nations, because we are some of the bigger nations, some of the other smaller nations had pretty high percentage losses, but that's only because, in a nation of 100 people, if 30 of them go to battle and 10 die, that's 10% of the nation.
Yeah. So it was a catastrophe. It wasn't great.
For the record, I believe, just for talking about numbers, I believe Dawn has now been confirmed at 50 losses for the summit. The vast majority of which were from that battle. I think there was one or two from skirmishes, and the rest were just this battle.
Yeah. And I think as for me specifically, I didn't enjoy the fact that I was so busy on that Saturday that I was unable to come and bid farewell to like two of my close friends.
To be fair, I did think about this because you mentioned this, like we were talking about this before. I realized because of your the time it would have taken you guys to get off the field as monsters, I actually don't think you could have made it to the Glory Square in time. I wasn't laid out there for very long, and obviously Cian didn't get his body brought back. Yeah. So I think even if you had run off the field, the chances of you getting to your camp, getting all your monster kit stored, and then getting to the Glory Square, I don't think you would have actually caught him.
No. I will say though, I'm going to sound like really heartfelt now on the podcast, but I will make this very fucking clear. The last 2 weeks, I've done nothing but throw digs at these guys about the fact that their characters died. I have not pulled a single punch. Nope. I'm only doing this because we're on a podcast. It is never a nice thing, especially when you put so much effort and so much attention and emotion and drive into playing a character. I can't imagine it. I've never experienced what it must be to just lose that.
Yeah. I think we should have like a little,
through decisions that weren't necessarily your own, situations in which you weren't able to help. I can't imagine like that happening. I'm sorry that you guys, your characters have sadly died. But I'm also equally as excited about the next episode when we get to understand your new characters and your new drives and what new experiences and what type of game you're now going to start chasing and whether it differs from your older characters. I'm very excited to hear about, obviously, what that process is like and how you like as an experienced player you go from.
In this instance, it was very much the two of us had the exact same stupid idea and ran with it, but we'll talk about that next time.
Well, the point I'm making is, how do you as an experienced player who goes into an event not having a single plan in your head for a new character to suddenly be without one, to go right, shit, what do I do now? How do I reintegrate myself into the rest of this weekend? Right, because we're here at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, and all of a sudden you've got the sad march down to God to try and input a new character off the, what kind of piecemeal kit can I throw together that would be different to Alrayus and different to Hadrian, to therefore kind of embody somebody else, right? And how do I, once I've done that, how do I switch my mindset from being a sad boy to being cool, happy? How do I get myself back out of this funk and into like, these are the kind of the questions I really want answering in the next episode.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
But,
but I realize that obviously it's a very bitter end for you both. I would like it on the record that on the Sunday, in terms of death count for Nafar, I don't think it was anywhere close to your counter in Dawn. So just I hope that makes you feel better, given the amount of shit you give us for how we should fight.
Oh, I actually wanted Nafar on our fucking side that time.
Yeah. Go on, mate.
That's not even a joke. But yeah, woo. I don't even know how to finish this.
I mean, I think we'll see if any questions. Obviously, we've talked a little bit there. It is a very sad, dour ending. We'll see if it questions and shit about the whole weekend for the next episode. For now, I think this is Alrayus and Hadrians signing off for the last time, and we'll tell you a little bit more about the weekend in our next episode. And there you go. This explains why it was a combined episode, folks.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, look, thank you everyone for tuning in. Please, if you can, if you've got a minute, put a comment in about your favorite Alrayus and favorite Hadrian memory from all the recaps. And if you've bumped into them on the field, please put a comment below as to what your favorite memory has been. We'd really love to see some love in the chat for both of these two characters, and drop a like on the either podcast or the video if you're watching this on YouTube. But yeah, try and get involved. And if you spot any of this on TikTok, please hammer Cian about how terrible Hadrian was as a character. Cian manages TikTok, and it'll be really fun for him to experience that. But no, thank you very much, both of you, for giving us that half recap of your weekend. And next episode, I'm very much looking forward to that, because we get to kind of jump off into new characters, which I'm excited to hear about. Yeah,
let's just end it on glory to the glorious dead.
Glory to the glorious dead.
I won't say that. Have a wonderful evening, and whenever you're watching or listening to this, thank you very much for tuning in. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you soon.